So here we go. Boundaries, 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 setting boundaries. Why do we talk about this so much? Well, you see what I wrote here? After 40, peace is the new currency. If a relationship costs your peace, it's okay to politely let it go. That is no joke. And what we are looking for as we step into our authentic selves is peace. And you need peace to step into your authenticity. Welcome to You Can't Handle the Truth, the Voice First podcast for women over 40 who've outgrown silence, settled energy, and sugar-coated healing. Here, we say what you've been thinking and finally tell the truth your soul's been waiting to hear. I'm your host, Natalie, and every week we unpack healing, holy wisdom, generational rewrites, and grown woman discernment. This isn't your average feel-good podcast. This is where truth turns sacred, softness becomes power, and women rise with clarity. Because sis, if your intuition is speaking, you don't need permission to listen. You're not crazy. You're just finally clear. You've been reading energy longer than they've been playing games. You need to quiet the noise from outside to step into your authenticity. I don't even know how many more ways to say this, but before we go any further and we see what our truth teller has to ask and what they have to say, what I have to say and what you have to say, you need to hit that subscribe button. I can't even say it. Subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and drop me a heart emoji in the comments. Show me some love at least if you're not going to comment anything else. But I would love you to comment on this because, well, we're going to get into it. And the reason why I want you to comment is because I feel like when I saw this subreddit today, I thought, I understand exactly how my truth teller feels, and I'm sure if I could understand it and some of the other ladies and truth tellers in the subreddit resonated with this, that a lot of you will also, because it's one of the things that we have the hardest time doing. So go get your drink, go get whatever you're sipping on, smoking on, because that's your business. Whatever you're eating, get a blanket, grab your phone, your laptop, and curl up on the couch and let's talk. Okay? Let's have this discussion. All right? Because setting boundaries is the hardest thing that we do in this lifetime as we get older. And a lot of times we lack so many boundaries, and then we get to this point in our life and we're trying to find peace, and it's like, right? Like whoosah. People are coming in and out. They're asking all these things of you. They have all these expectations of you, and you just want to know what you want to do, what your purpose is, how you are going to navigate this next 50 years of your life, right? In peace, right? Because maybe you haven't found it yet. You've been taking care of everyone else. You've been doing everything for everyone else. And they've gotten so used to it, they're still pulling on your energy. And you're like, hold up, wait a minute. Yep, no more. I need a boundary. Now it's like, how are you going to do that? And why is our truth teller feeling this way? Let's read what she has to say first. All right. And then we're going to get into it. I'm going to tell you what I think, and you're going to tell me what you think about this. And if you resonate with this and what your experiences are, if you will, because I would love to hear it. All right. And I'm going to put my glasses on because I was going to say the print's getting smaller, but I'm just getting a little older. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell them. All right. So let's go. Our truth teller says, now that I'm older and have gone through a lot of health issues, I'm starting to rethink some of my close relationships. This includes friendships, marriage, and even to some degree, my kids. Career is no longer happening for various reasons. How did you navigate your way through this if it happened to you? I'm feeling incredibly lonely right now. Oh, yes, the loneliness that comes with setting boundaries. Because, of course, no one's going to like it. You thought they were going to like it when you set boundaries and you said, I'm taking me time for like 2 years. I'm taking 2 years of me time. and your kids, your husband, everybody's like, wait a minute, where'd she go? Where'd she go? Where'd our truth teller go? Like, she's always available. And then she's not. And this is not just for my ladies out there. This is for my guys out there too. My men out there, you know, y'all have to do the same thing. Sometimes you got to do the same thing. But let's see what the responses are from other truth tellers. And while I'm reading off these responses, drop your thoughts in the comments. So one person says, I found myself reading books by Lindsay C. Gibson. She writes on how to deal with emotionally immature people. EIPs lack boundaries because they were never taught them. Sending you a link to the website that can help you get out of the fog, fear, obligation, guilt, some great ideas to help you with different situations. Oh, I didn't even know about this, but this is a website and I'm going to drop this. I'll be dropping this in the description box for you if you want to check it out. If you're trying to figure out how to set boundaries or trying to get comfortable with setting boundaries because no one likes it that you're setting boundaries and now you're feeling kind of lonely. Part of the reason why we need to set boundaries right now is because we need to learn how to be lonely. We need to learn how to be by ourselves. See, we spend a lot of our lives around a lot of people doing a lot of things with, for, and around everyone, and they've gotten used to that. And you've gotten used to it. And now you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your life. You need to separate yourself from people so that you can hear yourself think. With lack of boundaries, that's something that happens. We don't get a chance to hear ourselves think. We are constantly around other people who are giving us their thoughts on everything. Everything that we do. Someone has to say about it, right? But at this point in your life, that's not what you need. You need to hear yourself, you need to hear your heart, and you need to hear your intuition. But yes, it's lonely. Someone else says, she said, thank you for your reply. I actually came across a couple of her YouTube videos. Oh, she has YouTube videos too. That's good to hear. And then someone else says, I have always had a lot of health issues as well, which take priority in my life if I want to stay on top of them. So I always have to put myself first. That's the boundary. Very simple. If someone doesn't respect it, that's not my friend, period. Yeah, like sometimes you have to say that, right? You have health issues, mental health, whatever, and then people don't want to respect the boundary that you need to set or the solitude that you need so that you can tend to yourself, then you're going to have to say like, that's not your friend, not right now. Because anyone who's not on board with what you need to do to take care of yourself, like, is that cool? Especially when you've been taking care of everyone else your whole life, right? You've been doing everything for everyone to make sure they're okay. And if it's to the point now you need to make sure you're okay, that needs to be okay first and foremost, because that's you teaching yourself how to take care of you because you weren't taught to do that earlier on. Someone else says, in the last couple of years, after the deaths of both parents, I have let go of some relationships that I have realized aren't what I thought they were. People who do nothing to reach out to me when they know I might need support, who get defensive when I try to talk to them about the relationship, who basically generally act as though I don't exist unless I'm actively reaching out, and even then think nothing of blowing me off. Now, on the other hand, I have other friends and family who are amazing and supportive and reciprocal in relationships. I treasure those people and cultivate our relationships. Everything I give, I get back and more. That's amazing, right? Like, so that can happen too. But you have to decide what you need, right? If you need space, then people need to give you space. And we have to be understanding also that the people in our lives, right? Just like she said, like, oh, well, you know what? Other people are not available. Well, maybe those people are not available right now because they need space. right? So we all just need to be respectful of each other in that regard, because many of us were not taught to take care of ourselves. We were running around taking care of everyone else our whole lives, and now we're like, deep breath. We're tired. We're tired. And we just want to figure out how not to be tired and how to enjoy the rest of our lives. Another truth teller says, I started pruning friends and relatives who were unsupportive, unkind, and users. To be honest, I have no old friends left and a whole new set of friends I made in the last few years. I don't want quantity, but quality. I set much harder boundaries around my time, what brings me joy, my personal growth, and personal space. Health and well-being are my priority. Exercise, meditation, breath work. It hasn't been easy, but is definitely possible. Perimenopause made me reassess everything and everyone. Yeah, it does. Like, because when you go through perimenopause, I keep telling you ladies and gentlemen out there, for those of you who don't know, so maybe you can understand what your wives, spouses, girlfriends are going through at this age, is that when you get to this age, even though you may not visibly, some of the symptoms of menopause, like weight gain, and that might be visible, acne, some of those things are visible, but some of them are not. Some is emotional, and other things going on in our body as our hormone levels change, and we need some solitude to work through that. We need some time to work on our health, and that may not always be understood by everyone, and that may call for setting boundaries with people and taking a time out. And she mentions quality, not quantity. Exactly. Like, I just found as I've gotten older, like, I don't need a lot of people around me. And actually having a lot of people around me, it feels like noise. It's very unsettling for me, because everyone has their own energy, right? And so when I can be with a small group of people, have just a few people that I can reach out to who are truly supportive, that I'm not codependent on, that I am, and this is for everyone. Think about this, that you have somebody you can reach out to. You're not codependent, that you don't need them. Like, you're not just calling to dump on them, but you have someone who actively has some good feedback for you and can also understand when you need your downtime, and is not forcing on you that you should do something that you feel is against yourself, or something that's not working for you right now, or doesn't align with your health. Because can you imagine, like, she's talking about yoga, meditation, these things take time. And if you're doing this every day, ladies, right, and you're working full time, how much extra time do you have? Maybe you're not taking that extra phone call in the evening, or you're taking your time to return a phone call or a text. In this day when we have our phone in our hands all the time, and people call us, text us any day, any time of the day or night, and then they expect an immediate response. Maybe they don't get an immediate response because you are not immediately ready to respond. You are tending to yourself. And so I think boundaries are good. I tell people all the time, it's not because you text me right now, I'm going to respond to you right now. And if that's making you mad, then maybe you need to find somebody else to text. I mean, short of it being an emergency. If I get a text and I can see, right, it's an emergency, of course, I'm going to prioritize. But if I am now tending to something that has to do with my health, and sometimes it's like, well, what are you doing? Maybe tending to my health means I'm just sitting here, not talking to anybody. Maybe that is tending to my health. Maybe for the next hour, I don't care who calls. I don't care what email comes through. I'm going to just not respond, right? For the next hour or two, or this evening, I'm just going to, and so whatever. And that's going to be different for everyone. It's so sad that people are not respectful of that, because we've gotten so used to this, living in a world where we have constant access to everyone, and we feel like we have the right to have access to everyone anytime we want to, because that's what social media and telephones and all this technology, which is wonderful, but technology has given us 24-hour access to people. But just because you can have 24-hour access to people does not give you 24-hour access to me. It's like the city that never sleeps. No, I have to sleep. I'm not that city. And leave that to New York. And I think like even sometimes now New York sleeps too. Okay, so next is someone says, it can be a long journey, but understanding what is happening to your own body and mind is very important. Perimenopause is a recalibration of both and very important as to how we will live post this stage. So after this stage of life, perimenopause can also exacerbate anything we already had mildly, like anxiety, depression, etc. It also brings up traumas we have long buried. No joke, ladies. Right? Those old childhood traumas start to creep up on you at 40. And you're like, am I going to deal with this? Do I want to look at it? Do I want to face it? And, you know, when you're doing this, doing shadow work, right? Dealing with your traumas. I call it shadow work, but like doing shadow work, I'm not doing that in a group setting. Maybe you're not ready to share your traumas with anybody, right? You don't want to trauma bond. This is not a time for trauma bonding. You've probably tried that before and it didn't work. So now it's just time to figure out, do I need therapy? What do I need so that my brain and mind feel at ease? So I feel at what? At peace. Because after 40, it's no joke that peace is the new currency. And if something messes with my peace, it's not happening. Period. And that's really hard. Because, you know, when you used to jump around, do everything and just be everywhere and be everything to everybody. And then now you're like, no, I can't. I don't want to. I can't. I'm not able to. I need to tend to me. You know, it can come off to other people as selfish. People will say you're selfish. But if somebody thinks I'm selfish because I have to take care of myself, then I don't know what to say. I just got to keep it moving. Because I'm not going to stop taking care of myself. That's for sure. Because I only have one self to make it through the next 50 years with. And so I got to take care of me. Okay, so someone else says, journaling, meditation, online forums to focus on your needs. Someone else says, I've been doing a lot of journaling, but feel I need action, but I'm too scared right now. I'm working and not in a good financial situation to go out alone. Basically, I'm in a neighborhood I don't like and haven't liked since I moved here 15 years ago. Not my monkeys, not my circus. Some friendships are becoming strained and no longer reciprocal. Very hard to make new friends. Career has changed. Do you know? Ooh. You know, I'm into astrology. So do you know that based on your astrological chart, just a fun fact, FYI, that there are certain places that you will move to that are meant for healing your trauma. And there are also certain places that will not support you in your life in this next phase of life. And so, I don't know, you can DM me if you want to know more about that, but because that's not what I'm here to talk about. But I'm just saying that, yeah, like, you know, sometimes it's time to move because we got to get out of that comfort zone, because sometimes we're staying unhappy and stuck in an area because we're comfortable and we don't want to take that action to move because we're scared. I don't know of what. We're scared of that change. We're scared of being alone. But at the same time, it's not serving us. The energy in the area is not serving us. I'm all about the energy. The energy has to be serving me. Oh yeah, like the energy has to be high, not all the time, but the energy has to be the vibes have to be good, right? Because not everyone could be 100% high energy all the time, but the vibes have to be good. And if the vibes are feeling kind of funky, it's time to move it. I like to move it. What movie was that? The Penguin movie. I don't know. My niece used to love that. Anyway, so next is very hard to make new friends. Career has changed. Had to close my practice. Marriage has always been hard because I'm not married to. He's overwhelmed. He's married to. He has ADHD. He's overwhelmed and dysregulated all the time and needs to be alone a lot and in water a lot. I'm going through peri and need for exactly like she has all these things going on. Like her husband is sick. He needs downtime. So, she's taking care of him, which is wonderful, right? But like, how about you? What do you need? That's when it's time for a conversation with each other. If you have a spouse, you got to have that conversation with each other. And then you both have to be, no matter what happens, you and your spouse, if you're married, have to be on the same page about what you guys need. And no matter what anybody else says or does, you have to set the boundary together, right? Because imagine how crazy it is if you live with someone and they need downtime and you're constantly bringing people into the house, right? You have a revolving door going on. It's not going to work. You're going to cause that person stress. They're going to be dysregulated. And that's going to cause dysregulation for you because when they're dysregulated, they are not people who are dysregulated are not happy people, which mucks up your vibe. So next is lots of people, someone else says, lots of people know they need to change something, but they don't deal with it. And often down the line, they're forced to finally deal with it at the worst possible moment. Look at what you can do to change and mitigate your hardship immediately. When the kids get older, etc., talk to them about how sometimes we all need to pivot and find new ways of doing things. You have the luxury of foresight and time to research your options, look at it logically, and with needs over wants in mind. Look at resources such as Mental Health America. We do need to talk to mental health providers because sometimes we are so stuck and we are so stuck in our ways that we don't want to deal with it. When I always talk about my naturopath, and when I started seeing my naturopath, probably almost, has it been that long? 8 years ago? I don't know. I was feeling like in a crisis, like everything felt like it was caving in and hardly even realized that I was in perimenopause already, and I had been for so long, and I don't know. It just escaped me. I'm a nurse, go figure. But anyway, it took going to her and having someone who was neutral and supportive. Yeah, I had to pay, right? But sometimes that's what you got to do. It's your health. If you don't pay now, you'll pay later. Guaranteed. Healthcare is not cheap. And when I calculated it, I was like, all the money I spent on my naturopath was 1,000% worth it, because what I spent on her will save me probably $1 million in my lifetime for how much my health improved. Because that's these things, all these feelings of guilt. And, I know we started about not setting boundaries with family, friends, other relationships, even with your kids. Without setting boundaries, you are unaliving yourself. A little bit at a time, one day at a time. That's what's happening. Oh my gosh, I just saw the little check mark. You are, yeah. So guess what? I'm a firm believer that when something needs to change, just like they just said, when something needs to change, guess what happens? The more you don't listen, the worse things get, until finally you are unable to not listen. It's like having chest pain and not doing anything about it, right? Eventually you have a heart attack, and then, right? And then the damage is done, and it's worse, and you're not listening to the signs that your body and your mind are giving you. You have an ache and pain here and you just ignore it. No, because you're busy running around taking care and doing what everybody else wants. What really irks me about mental health is that And when I say it irks me about how other people react to it, because mental health is not something that some people can see. You can see how someone acts when they have mental health issues, but it's not something that's actively explainable through the symptoms. And it often looks like people are acting out and they don't want, they're just being disagreeable, and they're not. They have mental health issues. So we need to be aware of that and allow people the time that they need, and just be supportive however you can. And you know what? If it's time for a break from the relationship because it's not working out, then let it be for now. Why are we forcing things? When you force things that aren't meant to be in the moment, you just create more chaos. All right, let's read one more comment and then we're going to close this out. Another truth teller says, I found that I've been setting boundaries all over the place. I'm not sure if it's the age or the work I've put in, but I'm doing it for the first time in my life. It's hard because even when I know it's a good thing to do, I second guess myself because others are often taken aback or react poorly. And that's the thing. We need to get comfortable with making other people uncomfortable with what we need to do with ourselves. And that's the worst part. We've gotten so comfortable with making everybody comfortable, with doing everything to make everybody else feel good, that we forgot what it feels like to make ourselves feel good. And then we feel guilty when we do something to make ourselves feel good. That's a boundary. She continues to say, it helps to chat with a friend about it. If you don't have a friend, I found ChatGPT helped in validating my boundaries. Good luck with your boundaries. Yeah, I mean, you could use ChatGPT, but sometimes be careful with that because ChatGPT, you have to give all sides of the story, right, to ChatGPT so that you get adequate boundaries. And I wouldn't count on ChatGPT for being your mental health therapist, but I've heard a lot of people say that it does help. But go, talk to somebody. Get a therapist. And like I said, I paid my naturopath, and whatever thousands of dollars or whatever I spent on my naturopath over a few years has given me back things that money can't buy. My health. And then it's probably going to save me a lot of money in the long run on my health. So anyhow, drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know how you're setting boundaries. If you're having trouble setting boundaries, I will put a link to that website in the description box below. I'll also tag it in the comments I'll pin it in the comments for you. And yeah, let's keep setting those boundaries. Your peace is the new currency. So we have to figure out how to find that peace, especially you're in perimenopause, anxiety levels are up, depression levels are up. You need peace. We need peace. If it's not peaceful, it's not for me and it's not for you. All right. Thank you for joining me on You Can't Handle the Truth, and I will see you in the next one.